Following the court proceedings involving Dr. Kizza Besigye and Haj Obed Lutale at the High Court, the next event on the agenda for the opposition coalition was a prayer gathering at the National Unity Platform headquarters. This prayer was dedicated to Dr. Besigye and all political prisoners. However, even before the prayer session began, there was already a significant security presence. Both JAT Forces and police had surrounded the NUP headquarters by 10 a.m. An aerial view captured by our cameras showed security personnel arresting 5 individuals at random. These detainees were briefly held in a minivan before being transferred to a mobile police cell. As tensions heightened, opposition political figures began arriving at the NUP's headquarters by 12:30 p.m. This was soon followed by the prayers led by Reverend Bobson Musamali, Dr. Besigye's spiritual formator.
Abali mmachi makomera twagala okwebaza omulamuzi omukulu bwe yavuddeyo n'alamula ensonga nga bwe ziteekwa okukola ki okuba.
After the prayer session, several opposition representatives delivered speeches. They spoke with a unified voice calling for greater opposition unity. They denounced the ongoing divisions within the opposition and stressed the importance of solidarity to challenge the ruling NRM government.
It is important that all progressive forces stand together, united, to fight the oppression in our respective countries, and in order to dethrone oppressive regimes.
Truth be told, sometimes we spend a lot of time nibbling at each other, pointing the guns at each other, and yet we are not enemies of each other. We should not be. We know who our enemy is, and that's where our political guns should point.
For us to give people the understanding that change is possible, the physical, and 2, the country can remain intact. We must speak that. We must act that.
You have seen all over social media that some of them work for the regime, and others, we must understand, they are our comrades, but they don't get the depth of this. They fail to understand that the regime prefers us divided.
The opposition leaders also expressed frustration over the delayed release of Dr. Besigye and other political prisoners despite a recent ruling from the Supreme Court. They accused the judiciary of being compromised and accused it of working in favor of the government.
My husband has been in prison just 3 months. I'm a global leader. I can bring global attention to him, and I have. I have also national recognition, and I have. But these people, your people, who have disappeared, who are in prison, nobody knows them. And Museveni is sitting on them, denying their rights because nobody knows them.
I have noticed that people placed in authority, including the courts, are reluctant or fearful of doing their duty. They know what is right.
The leaders also voiced concerns about a new wave of abductions, pointing to the alleged abduction of NUP's head of mobilization, Chairman Nyanzi, members of the party's electoral management committee, and the arrests by security forces outside the NUP headquarters as examples of this alarming trend.
Right now, as you all know, Chairman Nyanzi has been missing for several days now. He was abducted by state operatives just right there in view of everybody. Yesterday, 4 members of our election management committee were abducted on Masaka Road.
Today's prayers have been dominated by calls for opposition unity from nearly all political actors that stood to the podium to speak. What is left to be seen is whether the practicability of these calls will be heeded too. David Ijo, NTV Tonight.